episode of Grateful Effects, we're going to be reviewing the Master Grade 1100 Barbatos Gundam, straight from the series Gundam Iron Blood Orphans, which personally is one of my favorite series. Right here, starting off, we have a nice front and rear view of Barbatos in his full loadout right there. We have him in an action pose here, standing on an action base, or plugged into an action base. Then we have a front and rear view of his inner frame, which is very well detailed, and with the detail it's got, it's definitely worthy of a Master Grade title. And then we have some little pictures here of the details you have in the inner frame there, some things that move. The Ahab Reactors actually do spin. Of course, they don't, spin on their own or anything like that. You just put your finger there, grab something, and they spin, but they don't spin that much, but that's besides the point. We have working pistons, so unlike the full mechanics version, it was just this that moved, the abdominal section. In this one, there's a lot more parts that move in the rear. We have it on the shoulders, we have it on the arms, the legs, everything. There's so many parts that move. And we have a little picture here of 1/100 version of Mikazuki Aegis in his just regular form. And we have him in his pilot form. And then some other little details there. On the other side here, we have him holding in the battle mace here. We have like some little details on the arms and how it can move. The joints are double jointed more or less. The wrists move around and they actually do kind of swivel also. We have a picture of the mace, sword, 300mm smooth bore. Some details as well, like some things actually move in for the back part of the knees, so it allows even more articulation for this kit. The backpack here actually does function, so unlike the full mechanics version, and I will be, you're going to hear that word a lot, or that name a lot for this kit, because there's a lot of comparisons between the two. And in part 2, I will show you firsthand what the differences are. So in the first kit, you had to take this part off from this, and you had to plug in another part. Well, this one, everything's already inside. So that's pretty neat there. Have another pose here with his smooth bore and his blade. And then just finally the last pose there. So I sound like I'm rushing a little quick, but that's because this will be a long video. I'll try not to make it too long. So let me just move this camera a little bit closer. Starting off with the runners, we have runner A1 and A2. So on A1, we have part of the chest here. This is for the upper part of the chest. This here is where the pilot's going to go in, and then this is the part actually slides out and slides back in. Below that here is where it's going to open up and everything. We have the sides here for where the Ahab reactors will go. We have some little tubing there, some neck joints here where the pistons are there. Now these pistons don't work, so you're going to have to paint them. We have the head, we have the top part, and we have the faceplate. Unlike the previous kit on the full mechanics version, you had to take this off to put in the V-fin. This one you don't have to take, at least from what I remember, you don't have to take anything off from the inner frame to put any other parts on. You just slap the armor on and you're done. Here we have the back flaps, we have the front flaps as well. We have, I don't remember what part that is. We have the fingers, so unlike the full mechanics, you had to pop out the whole hand and pop another one in. So if it had like a trigger finger, it would have that. You have the fist, the grip, you have the casual, whatever like that. You had to do that. In this one, it's just this part. This is all the part that you need. It's got a moving articulated thumb, but it only moves like that much. It doesn't move too much. And then you interchange the hands to make it into a grip, open and everything like you saw right there. Pretty well detailed. Moving into runner B, it's in 2 parts. Same exact copy on both. So here we have for like part of the lower legs as well as some of the forearms going on here. We have the shoulder joint here, and the only downside about that to me was in the full mechanics, you just slide on the shoulder, and that's it, you're done. In this one, you have to construct the whole chest over that, so it's kind of a bummer in case maybe you wanted to do like a little, I don't know, diorama where things are opening up, and then one day you just want to have it all together. It's a little bit of a hassle, but I mean, that's fine. Here we have the Ahab Reactor that spins and rotates right there. We have the other half here, molded really well. It's got some pretty good details and options here to put in. Some other joints there. We have that thing that goes in the back part of the knee. We have the cod piece, I believe, there. So that's that for that. We have runners C1 and C2. Both are exact copies. So this whole section here on the top is C1. This whole section here on the bottom is C2. And these parts are for the feet. Be very careful in case maybe it doesn't feel like it clicks, because I broke this part on my first kit. I already have one of these Master Grade kits of this one, and I broke that little part by accident. So now it's glued in eternity, so bummer. But I mean, there's that, so be careful with that there. Other than that, I mean, this kit's really detailed here on the bottom there. You can see the details for the bottom of the feet. This is the thumb joint, so this part doesn't articulate just like that, but it does rotate there. And that's that for that. Moving into D2 and D1, we have the gold parts. So if any of y'all remember building the full mechanics version, these were all foil stickers, I think. You had to put these on and everything like that. And well, I don't like stickers, and I know a lot of y'all don't like stickers. So I ended up painting it myself instead. But in this kit, you don't have to. They're already made for you. And it seems like I got lucky too, because it didn't look like too bad on the mold or injection process. I didn't have like a weird line here on the other one, and this one I don't, so that's pretty neat. In the other one I didn't bother painting this, repainting it or anything like that. I kept it as it was. I'm gonna do the exact same thing for this one. I'm fairly satisfied with the way the gold looks in this, so I'm okay with that. And we have the chrome parts here. These are all the pistons, so unlike the other kit you had to paint them on, and this one you don't. They're already painted for you, so that's a bonus already right there. We have runner E, which initially I thought was runner A. And here we have a majority of the parts. You can already see the armor here, so this is the inner part of the backpack, or the front part I guess, but you don't actually see. And then this is the inside of it, so that's pretty well detailed, especially in there too. We have the part of the thruster here. This I think is also part of it. We have the little vents here for the chest. We have it for the lower leg. We have this that goes right under where the shoulders are, so in the full mechanics you have to paint that in. We have the V-fin here, and it looks really awesome. I like that it's a little more elongated. I know some people weren't a big fan of this, but I personally like it like that. And then we have the Mikazuki and the both forms here. So he does come with a little stand here that's pretty neat, so he can just stand on his own. We have the neck, the cheek pieces here. We have the face. We also have the eyes, which by the way are blacklight reactive. So if you put a black light on, they will glow pretty bright. And we have all the red parts here. Still nicely detailed that you can see there. Moving on from there, we have runners F1 and F2, which are mirror copies of each other. It's just that like they cut off, so this is the only part that's different here. This is for the upper thigh and some other parts here. This is for the smooth bore barrel, and this is also for the scope. This here, unlike the other kit, this is the guard that goes on the sword. You had to paint that in for the other one. This one you don't have to paint it in, so that's pretty neat there. Moving here, it's the same thing again for the shoulders. And like I think I mentioned already, was this part you had to stick these two on the shoulder, and you had to place this part over, and then you're done. But unlike the other one, just slip them on, slide it off. So, oh well, it's a lost thing, but I mean, it's still fine. And we have runners G, 2 copies of the same parts. This one here and this here, the thruster there, you don't need these two. For at least 2 of those you don't need. The other ones you will need it. And then these parts are the same. These are what's going to go around where the knees are. The thrusters that go there. And these are for the side skirts. So that's that. We have runner H, which is just a transparent part, transparent pink. These are going to go on the shoulders, on the knee, and on the chest. And they are also blacklight reactive. They're not as bright as like the green ones, and they're not as bright as I've seen on other kits, but they're still pretty neat actually. It's pretty nice. So there's that. Then we have runner I1 and I2, although interesting enough this is for the weapon, this is not. So here we have for the chest, and these, if I remember, were all on a full part, so it's 1 piece, but now they have it in 3 pieces, but that's because this slides forward. These are for the elbows. We have the smoothbore here along with the machine gun here at the bottom. We have the barrel for that there. We have the trigger here that does swivel. Just this one is still similar to the 1/100 version, the full mechanics version. So it has some similarities in terms of like how it functions and stuff. But overall, this one has far more detail to it. That looks just wow. I freaking love this. And then we have, lastly, the last parts of the weapons and stuff. We have the battle mace here. I call it the battle mace. We have 1/2 here. We have the handle part here. And then we have the pile driver. And unlike the other kit, on the full mechanics, this one was about the same, more or less. It was a little pointy. And this part was a little more stubby. But in this one, they made it more into a point, and I like that, actually. We have the barrel here of the smoothbore. We have the inner part of it, so you can kind of have some options there of putting in some really cool, I don't know, mechanical things there. And the blade is in just one solid piece right here, which is really neat. And like I said, you slip on the white part there and you're done. And it looks really well. It's the same side as well, so yeah. And this part here, interesting enough, I'm sure you're seeing this here. This was a very interesting detail they added to this kit. they added 2 extra weapons that you don't actually see on the cover art, as like you saw right now. I didn't made no mention of it, but these two, there's 2 of these. You have this one here and this one here that connect on that, and then this. They are extra little daggers, you could say, that you can take apart from the main mace itself. So that was a very interesting decision that they made that we haven't seen in the series before, but they just went ahead and had some creative liberties, and honestly I have no complaint on that. That's pretty cool. Moving on, we have our decals, and then we have the instruction manual. For the decal, they're just stickers. There's no water slides or rub-ons or anything like that. The dry, I forgot what they're called, the dry decals. So they're all stickers here. So I got some kanji here and everything like that. We have the Tekkadan logo in white and in red, but like they're messed up, and we have them in the regular. We have 2 smaller ones messed up, and then we have 2 regular ones up here. A majority of these, believe it or not, are going to go in the inner frame, and then some of them will be going on the exterior part of the armor and stuff. We have the foil stickers for the eyes, and then we have it for the cannon, the smooth bores, telescope lens, or something like that. On my other kit, I only use this one. I didn't bother to use these because, I mean, the eyes were pretty cool as it was, and I didn't want to just stick these on anyway. I don't really like stickers as it is. And speaking of, I went ahead and I ordered these. These are water slide decals for this kit made by Decal. And one of the things I really liked also was that he added these extra little ones here. He took some creative freedom in adding some of these extra little decals that go on the side there. And he's got them in a holographic, and he's got this in regular, but I prefer the regular. And I mean, I used the majority of these already as it was for the other one. I freaking love these decals, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to customize this kit that I'm reviewing right now. I'm going to customize it. So we'll see how that goes. I might not use as much of those decals, but I mean, like I said, we'll see. So here we have the instruction manual, and we have just like the same view you see in the front. As I can already see, the video is already 12 minutes long, and I apologize for that. Just a little things on, like, how to cut the sprues and everything, how to treat that. We have all of the parts there. And we have our large list of runners that you're going to use. Not as large as the Sazabi, but still pretty large. And then we just have some of the parts. And then more or less, this is kind of constructed more or less similar to the full mechanics version. What I mean by that was where you build the inner frame first, and then you put the armor over it. The only main difference between the two is that in this one, if you're starting with the chest unit, you're only going to build the inner frame first, and then you add the chest, like the parts over that. In the other one, you built the whole kit, and then you added the armor, and this one you're just going to build that part. So it's a little different take. I still went ahead and did what the full mechanics did, was I followed the instructions and I made the inner frame on all of these first, and then after I was done, I went ahead and worked on the armor and everything like that, and then I stuck it on after I had already put together the kit. So I'm probably going to do the same thing now. I'm going to customize the inner frame, and we'll see on that. Some more parts from like the head, and like I said, for this part here, you don't need to remove the V-fin there, so that's pretty neat. We have this little color guide here for the bottom, so you can see what colors you're going to need to use, and how much you're going to need to use, like percentages and stuff. The paint guide for Mikazuki in both forms. Panel lining and how it looks, so it encourages you to should panel line, and it does, because there are a lot of details on this kit that are definitely worth panel lining with and all that. And we have a little straight from the anime kind of thing, images of Mikazuki there. Some more parts of the armor, the leg and everything like that, the weapons. So I think even in the instructions it doesn't mention anything about that being a second weapon. Yeah, like it just shows here, it just has like these 2 there that snap on, but doesn't mention them as being a second weapon, but they are. So it's kind of a little extra detail. It's pretty neat. And we have the decal guide, which you will definitely need this for if you do get these water slides. This will come in handy still. Just note that when you get to the red numbers, those are what was exclusive to the Delphi decals instead. So those are where you're going to put them wherever you want. You can either follow what was in the picture he had posted of the completed kit, or you can just just go ham, have at it. Other than that, that's it for this kit. I'm sorry that this video was at least almost 15 minutes long, but there was a lot to cover here, so hopefully the next part 2 will not be as long. I will most likely review my completed kit, and then I will say some plans on what I'm going to have for this kit, because I already have the other one done. This one hasn't been finished, of course, as you can see. So we'll see on that, and I will do comparisons between the full mechanics version and the master grade version. So you can see right then and there, in case some of you already have the full mechanics, or if you were debating to get the full mechanics or the master grade, by all means get the master grade. This is an awesome kit. So you can already cut out from here. I'm just going to explain on some of my future videos. So for the USS Enterprise, I'm not going to be working on that for a while because I'm still missing the water slides and I don't want to go through the hassle of painting everything. So I'd already pre-ordered the decals. I'm going to wait for them to come in, hopefully soon, because it says in this month it's supposed to come in. I don't know when, but we'll see. And once I get that done, I will apply them, top coat it, and I'll start wiring it. And maybe I'll do some tutorial videos, like I said, on how to wire it. So we'll see there. And other than that, that's pretty much it for that. Still have quite a handful of kits on backlog, and once those are done, I guess I will start reviewing kits that I've already finished. But other than that, I mean, y'all stay safe, you stay healthy, and this is Lone Wolf signing out.